Wait, did you hear that?
Yes.
Okay, good. How did we end up in San Francisco, or what appears to be San Francisco? On the
That's my
back,
little backdrop.
that's it's all good.
Okay, hold on. Let me find, Dave, I'm still slightly challenged.
That's okay. That's right. You're from the Bay Area, though, anyway, so you're at home there
That's right.
with
That's
the
my
golden.
bridge right there.
Yeah, yeah. There you are. There we are.
Okay.
Now, by the way, great to see you again. There,
Thanks for having me, Dave.
of course, of course. And by the way, yeah, I guess I should do my introduction. This is the Dave Bean is a C-List Actor Zoomcast, and my special guest for this episode is costume designer Marcelle Chamlee. Welcome, Marcelle, and it's great to see you there, so
Thanks, Dave.
comfortable on the roof of your building.
Thanks. Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? Like you
And
have the view of
yeah,
Hollywood. Let me see. I
yeah.
can
I guess
zoom
yeah, so,
in.
so tell where exactly are you situated?
I am on the roof. Uh, I'm in Hollywood, right
Right.
near Melrose and Highland.
Okay. Melrose,
I ca-
very, very cool.
I I consider it the Los Angeles metropolitan
Right,
zone.
right.
Although, if you're from LA, you'll argue with me.
Yeah, yeah. But
So,
you're in Hollywood, like you're in Hollywood proper. When people say, because people will say they live in Hollywood and they might mean, somewhere else in Los Angeles and that they work in Hollywood, but you actually live in Hollywood.
I live in Hollywood. I'm going to turn the camera around so you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
see a
yeah.
little
Show
bit,
us,
okay?
give us a view of what that looks like, because you do. It got dark here in New Mexico, yeah, just already, but you're only one time zone over. Got that
Yeah,
beautiful sunset. Wow,
isn't that
wow,
sweet?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's that's great. And what are the cross streets there where you are?
Okay, so the cross streets, there's the Hollywood Hills,
Oh,
the
okay, yeah, sure, can see that
Hollywood
for sure.
sign.
Oh, there's the Hollywood
Um,
sign. Yeah, wow, right there.
yeah,
Wow, very cool.
yeah. And then we cruise over. I don't know why it keeps kind of jumping back.
Yeah, that's all
There's
right.
the Griffith Observatory. You can't really see
Yep, yep.
it.
So that's Griffith Park back there. And the Griffith Park
Yep.
Observatory, which of course film fans know very well from Rebel Without a Cause, the James Dean film.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
very
exactly. So that's the Hollywood Hills right here.
right.
All of
Famous.
that.
Yeah,
Lots of celebrities living up there.
of course, of course.
And there's the new art gallery, which I'm
Oh, well,
excited about.
oh, that's cool. That looks like a nice building. Looks like
Hmm.
they gussied that up a bit. You got some beautiful palm trees back there.
Downtown's right there.
Oh,
You can
okay.
kind of
All right.
see it off in the distance in between
Oh yeah,
those
yeah,
palm
way
trees.
way back there. When I lived up in Montrose, and which is not, but maybe 10 or 12 miles from you, I could go in my backyard. I could see downtown LA. I was kind of now I wasn't up in like the hills, like the Hollywood Hills, but I was in the foothills of the Glendale area, and you could see downtown LA, and it was always kind of a cool view. Very cool, very
Yeah.
nice. Oh, look at that.
Looking west. Yeah,
Yeah.
isn't that
Oh,
beautiful?
that's a beautiful shot right there.
Yeah.
A beautiful shot right
Yeah.
there. How long have you been living in Hollywood?
Probably, I don't know, Dave. God, maybe like
Yeah.
25 years or something.
Okay. All right. So you'd say you've made yourself at home there. No, no doubt about it. Where were you before you moved to Hollywood?
Okay, we're gonna just flip this around again.
Yeah.
Um, San Francisco.
Yeah. You're up in up
Oh,
in,
yeah.
up in San Francisco.
That's right.
And
Well, I was in Long Beach. Went
right,
to Cal
right.
State Long Beach.
And when I met you, were you still, I think you were still a student at Cal State Long Beach?
Was I? That's funny.
Yeah, I'm trying to
That's
remember because I remember there was a deep conversation that we had, and I don't know about you, but I was a kid back then, and I remember there being a conversation that you didn't know whether or not you wanted to dive deep into the industry or pursue the more academic route to the industry.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I wish I remember that
yeah.
conversation.
Again, we're talking literally over 30 years ago. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But of course,
Um,
that would have taken place after you and I met for the first time, obviously.
right.
How do you,
Yeah.
let
Well,
me, in your recollection, how was it that we met? Do you remember?
um, of course, how could I forget, Dave? Was it my first job? It, I think it was my first job, and I don't even know how I booked that job. That job just came to me once I said, "Oh, I'm going to work in Hollywood."
Right,
Literally the next day, I got a phone call from somebody I didn't know,
right,
and they were like, "I'm doing a movie.
right.
I need an assistant."
What was that movie? Do you remember the
Prison Planet,
Prison
but
Planet?
but
Yeah.
but that wasn't the name. What was the working title? I
Right,
can't
right. The
remember.
word that it was Badlanders.
Badlanders.
That's how we knew it working on it was Badlanders. But when they released it, they changed the name to Prison Planet. Either way, clearly a Shakespearean experience for young filmmakers and costume designers. So you went to work. Were you a costume designer right away on we'll call it
No,
Prison
no, no,
Planet? No. What were you doing?
no. I didn't
What were
even
you
know
doing?
the job.
Yeah.
I was a wardrobe assistant. I knew how to
Right.
sew.
Right.
And so I think I was still living in Long Beach
Mm-hmm.
when we did that because I remember the designer gave me a bunch of suits and I had to take up the sleeves and I
Right.
didn't have the foggiest idea of how to take up a suit sleeve.
Right.
I
Right.
remember calling my mom in the middle of the night crying and she was like, "You can do it, you can do it." So, but yeah, you had a fitting, Dave. You had a
Right.
fitting with us in this neighborhood.
Right. Oh,
I don't
okay.
remember what street, but I know that
Yeah.
it was close. Oh, here's LAPD flying by, so sorry for the noise.
Oh, okay. That's all right. To protect and serve. They've got to do
Protect
their
and
job.
serve.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, you came over for a fitting,
Right.
and I remember, it's funny the things we remember. Like I remember fabric textures and things from when I was
Right.
like 2 years old. So, Dave,
Of
I remember it was
course.
I think it was a plaid suit, or it was brown plaid. It wasn't a tweed, I don't think.
Yeah, at least the suit
Um,
that I ended up wearing in Prison Planet was brown. Definitely, it was a
yeah, it
brown.
was brown.
Yeah, brown suit for sure. And I had a fedora, a
And a
matching
fedora. And I remember
fedora.
you going into character. Once you put that hat on, it was like, so.
Well, it's funny because some actors, if you talk to actors, they'll tell you, some of the conversations you hear, some of the times actors get asked, well, do you work from the inside out or the outside in? A lot of actors, they'll find their character within themselves and then they'll bring it out. And for many character people, for many actors, you don't find that character, especially if it's a period piece or there's funky, different kind of costumes. You don't feel that character until you put that suit on. And in that case,
Right.
I definitely remember when I put that suit on, the character of Heinze, that was my character's name. Heinze,
Heinzie.
Heinze just kind of shot right out of me.
hmm
I mean, and it surprised me as well. So you were probably there for the birth of that character.
I was
Um,
there for the birth of a lot of things. If you think about it, you were my first actor that I
right.
actually, outside of acting class, because I was at Cal State Long Beach taking acting classes,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and because I had changed my major from communications to theater,
Right. Right.
and
What made you? What
which
made you? What made you do that? Do you recall what was it?
yes, I so I was broke, and I had decided to call Central Casting
Right.
and get on a film set because I was curious and I had never been on a film set. So
Right.
I got on the film set
Right. Of Central
and
Casting, which of course
Central
is the very
Casting.
famous provider of background artists or extras to the film industry, and they've been in business since, I mean, the early days of Hollywood. That's kind of how people got started. So you signed up with Extras Cast or Central Casting. That's very cool.
I did.
I
Mhm.
don't think I knew that. Wow. Wow.
Yes, I did. And I got a job right away. Right
Yeah.
away. Like the next day they called me and they were like, okay, we have something, we'll pay you. And they're still paying the same they were paying me, like 150 a day or something.
Wow.
And
Do you remember
I
what
went,
the show was?
I do. It was called Serious Money.
Yeah.
And the actor, I can never remember his name. He's passed away maybe 10 years now.
Yeah.
Leo Ferrigno
Oh,
or
Lou
Farino.
Lou Ferrigno?
No,
The
not
Hulk?
the Incredible Hulk.
Because
It
he's
was the
alive
other guy.
very much. Yeah.
This guy was an Italian. He's been in The
Right.
Sopranos. He was in all the
Oh,
Italian
okay.
movies.
Right, right,
Um,
right.
I can't remember, but
So
he was
that's okay.
there.
He was one of those guys, and so you were on set. What was your impression when you got on set for the first time? Because that's always a shock to the system for people who've never been on a film set before.
Well, first of all, I was 2 hours late.
Yeah.
I was late.
Okay.
And it was pouring in LA. I was driving a Volkswagen Bug, so this was like
Right.
150,000 years ago. And I
Wow.
had to drive up from Long Beach, which isn't
Right.
easy.
Right.
Got here, and then I didn't even understand how the film industry works. So you have to park, and then there's
Yeah.
a shuttle, and then you have to catch
Right.
the shuttle, and they take you to the spot. So all of this is new. So I do it
Right.
all.
Right.
I get to the location, which is literally right where Moza is right now, that restaurant, Moza Highland and Melrose, right? I
Oh,
could
okay.
walk there in a minute.
Okay. Highland and
And
Melrose. That is a real popular intersection of culture and food
yes.
and stuff in LA. Yeah, for sure.
So it was a restaurant. It had closed down. And so I got there and my acting teacher was like, no matter what you do, be careful how you socialize because you're being watched,
Right.
so you have to put on your best face and whatever.
Right.
So
Right.
I was completely, I had just finished classes. I ran to my car, got to the car, got here late. And so it was like, and so um I went into the bathroom and I like literally took practically a shower in that
Okay,
before
sure.
I
It
could.
sounded like you were going to say, I took a shower. I'm glad you said shower. Good, good. Don't have to edit
So
that. Well, not that you need to edit that
no,
out. I'm
I
glad.
was
Okay.
so young. It took
Yeah.
me a while. Like I had this really cute purple velvet little mini dress, really super cute.
Wow.
And,
You remember.
and so I went in and everybody, the AD, a friend of mine who I was friends with for years was like, you're late. And I was like, yeah, like whatever. Sorry. I didn't even know.
Right.
And then so I came out and I didn't know where to go. And this is where Hollywood it offers wonderful surprises for
Mhm.
people that want to get into the industry and don't know anything about it. Like I got out of the bathroom and I didn't know where to go. And so I sat down with Lou, whatever his name was,
Whoever the
the
star of
Italian
the show
actor.
was.
Yeah. And I said to him, I said, oh, is somebody sitting here? And he goes, no, so I sat down and I didn't even know what I was doing.
Were
And
you in
so
like
I
a
had a
crew,
huge,
like a cast chair, like one of the cast people's chairs?
yes, he was sitting at a booth. This is the star of the
Oh my, okay,
the
yeah.
lead actor. So I'm like, can I sit here? And he goes, yeah, sure.
That's
So then I proceeded to completely ignore him. I had a huge coffee table size book for this art history class I was taking. So I
hmm
open the book and I pull up my notes and I start to study.
right.
And so then he's like, so, the book was one of those books where if you like any kind of book, you're going to like gravitate to it.
Right,
And he was
right.
like, so what's going on in that book? So we started talking. And then about an hour, like half an hour in, he was still sitting there. I was still sitting there. Nothing was going on. Wardrobe, two people from the wardrobe department slid in to the
Right.
booth. And they were
Yeah.
like, who are you? We're
Right.
trying to
Yes.
figure it out.
Right. Who is this young lady with the book who's sitting next to the star
Fucking
who hasn't gone, who may, and of course maybe they're being careful because you're sitting there with the star. They don't know if you're a A-lister, B-lister, or
an
whatever.
agent. I
Yeah,
could be anybody. I could be a manager.
right. But
You
at
know,
this point though, you hadn't been through wardrobe or hair and makeup or any of that yet, which
no, I hadn't. I
background
didn't
artists,
know.
yeah, yeah. So yeah,
I
so
just didn't know. And so then, sat down with, they immediately took the book away from me and they were like, ogling over the artworks
Right.
and what the value of a good book, let me tell you. And
Okay.
so
So
as a prop,
they kind of,
you know,
that kind of endeared you to them. They were on your side.
yeah, they were on my side. And then when they found out I was background, they were like, oh my God, your background. The backgrounds are sitting in the back room. There's
Right.
150 of them. And
Because background artists or extras
sit,
usually are at the very, very bottom rung of a film set hierarchy, and you do not quite oftentimes you get treated like you're at the bottom rung of that. So you couldn't stay where you were, so they moved you, or you were prompted to move, right?
well, wardrobe was like, here, act like you're sewing a hem so the AD doesn't know. So they
Oh,
handed me a dress and a needle and a thread, and I know how to sew. So
and a
I was like, no
star is
problem.
born.
So that was it. At that moment, I said
Wow.
to myself, a light went off in my head, and I was like, this is it. Because I was studying acting.
Yeah,
And I know
yeah.
you don't know that, Dave, but I was.
I
And I
no,
was
I
having
don't
a
think I
hard
don't. Yeah,
time.
yeah.
I was having a hard time as an actor because I would be the type of actress that, like, let's say I was playing a murderer, I would
Yeah.
probably have to go and murder somebody.
Oh, so
Like, it would just be,
yeah, yeah,
it would just too much.
the method murdering,
Yeah.
those actors don't tend to, they end up with like in like the Folsom County or the San Quentin Theater Company, if you know what I mean. Yeah,
Yeah. You know what the
yeah,
thing is like I just internalized every scene to
right,
the
right.
point where talk about what
You
was that
felt,
syndrome I was talking about, that syndrome the other day. I
oh,
can't remember the name of it.
imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. Yeah, really. It was 10 times worse in any
Wow.
scene that
Okay.
I did. Unless it was improv. Then I kind of had improv. I had fun. But then I'd go home
Right.
and beat myself up over what I did and just be so embarrassed by it.
Yeah,
So then when
yeah.
I had that needle and thread in my hand, I was like, oh, this is
You
this
were
is
in
this is
total
what I'm meant to do.
control. You were in total control, and there were no question about what you were doing. And since you knew what you're doing, you didn't feel like an imposter. Is that
No, not at all. I just it felt like the Cinderella shoe, it just
yeah?
fit. And
That's
um
great.
and they were like, all of them, their eyebrows like, whoa, she knows how to sew, and like
Wow,
instantly.
wow.
And
Yeah,
so the night went on and I never sat with the background talent.
right. Oh wow. Okay.
Not at all. I sat with them
Right,
the whole time.
right,
And then I went back to school. I had to
right,
go back to Long Beach and continue
right.
school. And I just made the decision. I was like, I'm done. Like, I'm
Yeah,
done with this. I need to
yeah.
get to Hollywood. I'm getting older. I can't wait
Right,
anymore. And
right,
I'm going to be a costume designer, and that's how it's going to go. And
right, right.
so I moved out, which was a really good time to move out because my roommates were kind of erring towards sort of thoughts and like they were just getting more conservative, and I was
Yeah, yeah.
just
Okay.
gonna move up to Hollywood.
Yeah, I was going to say
So
if you had more conservative uh, roommates and you were thinking about Hollywood, you had to be a little more open-minded, a little more liberal, if you will, as not that everybody in Hollywood, and we don't need to, we don't want to crawl too deep through those weeds about that sort of thing. But you were much more at home. And then somehow or another, we ended up out in the desert on location in
that's right, because the next in Pear Blossom,
Pear
um,
Blossom, California, scenic Pear Blossom, California, which is a suburb of Little Rock, California, not Little Rock, Arkansas. But anyway, yeah, kind of podunk, if you will. Maybe an hour or so outside of LA, but a world away because you're out in the desert. And now
you are in the desert.
you are. I was so excited as an actor because I had just I had just pretty much started working professionally, and I had a slam bang I believe this was going to be early 1990, 89, 90, and I had just booked 3 jobs in a row, which I thought was just amazing because I was, obviously still in acting school, and I've pretty much always been in acting school. but I did my first movie, which was called Five Guys in a House, which has disappeared into the ether. Free IMDb, free computer. I have a video cassette copy of it, but there's no other record of it anyway. So I'm glad I have that. Then I did a film for AFI called Last Breeze of Summer, AFI, the American Film Institute. And then I immediately got cast in Badlanders or Prison Planet. So I finished up Five Guys in a House, went to work on Last Breeze of Summer. And then as soon as that wrapped, I went out to the desert to work on Prison Planet or Badlanders. Well, let's call it Prison Planet since that was the name it was released. The AFI film that I worked on got nominated for an Academy Award.
Wow, Dave.
Best live action short film right out of the gate. Now, of course, I didn't know that for like another year. We made it, and then it got nominated. So I, was pretty much floating on air when that happened. But we ended up out in the desert, and I remember, because costumes always need adjustments and always need fixing. And of course, there's ways that you keep costumes on people where you're not making like a suit for a wedding that has to always look good at all angles all the time. Whatever is facing the camera just has to look good, because a lot of times you got to cinch up the back, or you got to put, what's that sticky stuff that you put under the
top stick.
top stick.
Oh yeah.
To make the sleeve shorter, because I always had to have the sleeve shortened or whatever. But I remember
I was crying over that suit, Dave.
yeah. And of course it was 100 and plus whatever degrees, and I'm wearing that suit, and we were out there for God knows how long in the desert heat. But you were working alongside Carolyn Leone, right? Who was
Carolyn Leone, and that's how I met Carolyn Leone, was from the job at Highland and Melrose, my first background job. They, one of the guys that was in wardrobe was friends with her and recommended me to her. So, Dave, my whole entire career, it just operates solely on recommendation.
Yeah,
for people that I know.
Right.
And so anyway, I wanted to say real quick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn the camera around.
Uh-huh.
Guess what hour it is?
Is it the golden hour?
That's right, Dave.
Beautiful.
Isn't that
and
pretty?
Of course, it is gorgeous, especially with those palm trees right there. Of course, we, especially in the old days, I would hear at this point, if we were on set, somebody would be yelling, "Let's get the shot. We're losing our light."
Yeah.
And the AD would be like yelling that around, panicking about losing the light. But that is absolutely beautiful. And you got your very own palm tree right there.
Palm tree right here.
Yeah, gorgeous. Just
anyway, let me turn it back around.
Okay. Great. No, thank you for these views. It
might get better. So if I might switch it when you're just talking, when we're talking, like, oopsie, there you go.
We have no agenda. It's absolutely great. So, okay, now, did you, at what point, because so you're on set, was James McKinnon working with us on Prison Planet?
James was there, the fabulous makeup artist, and
right. And he was a kid. He was a real kid, right?
He was young. Yeah, he's younger than me. But I have to say, my favorite memories with James is that he has, I'm sure still, I haven't talked to him in a long time, but the greatest sense of humor. Like that guy made me laugh like nobody else. And
now wait, can you hold that thought for a second, Marcelle, because what I want to do now is so we're on set, you become friends with James McKinnon, who's a very young makeup artist. I'd worked with him on 2 or 3 films. Well, it was after that I worked with him. Okay, so you're working with him. He's a young kid. I'm going to say maybe still in his teens or very early 20s. And and then I want you to tell me about your friendship with him. But what happened to James McKinnon? What level of repute professionalism did he achieve in his career?
I
After,
don't, you know what? I really don't know. I mean, I know that he's wildly successful.
yeah,
Okay, so he owns his own makeup trailer company called
right,
Big Mac,
right,
which love that name because
right,
Mac is a name in my family that goes way
right,
back. So
right.
when I saw that, I was like, ah, I love that.
Yeah.
Um,
But he wasn't
last,
he's won like Emmy awards or
I
on,
think so. I think so. I
yeah,
don't even know. I just
yeah,
honestly have, I don't know, but I think he
yeah,
has. And I also think that, I think he was with The Rock for a
yeah.
while,
I
or
wouldn't
it might
surprise me.
still be,
Like
you
working
know,
for
I
him
mean, with
as his,
with a sense of humor like his, he
yeah,
had the golden ticket. If you're
yeah,
funny and you can make people laugh like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
then that's like, you know, he got it. He's like Willy Wonka. He won the, you know,
Golden
he won
ticket there.
the chocolate factory.
Right. He won the whole chocolate factory. He is Mr. Ghirardelli himself.
I'm sure
Uh,
everybody wants a bite, you
yeah,
know, but I'm sad that I don't talk to him. But you know how Hollywood is. We're
yeah.
friends and then you fade away, but then you bump into each other and it's fun, you know?
You and I went to
So,
a party at his house. He was living in Van Nuys. Do you remember the party that we went to at his
mm,
house?
was that a pool party?
Well, I
I went to a
remember
pool party.
it could have been a pool party, but it was like this indoor party. It was a good sized house, and
Uh-huh.
the party was going on in like many, many rooms of the house. And I remember, tell me if you remember this, in the living room, somebody popped in a videotape and literally said, "Hey kids, you got to come out here and see this." Like it was an old beach blanket bingo movie. Hey kids, popped in the video, and it was an animated show that turned out to be South Park.
No, you know what? I don't doubt that. Like, there's lots of
Yeah,
things like that I saw coming up in Hollywood and like,
yeah,
you know, hanging out with people that just like are like, hey, check this out. You
yeah.
know, a friend of mine who went to UCLA, like way back in the day. Sorry, my hair's really bugging me now.
That's
Um, way
So's
back in the
mine.
day. I know, Dave. Sorry. Um,
So's mine.
my
Yeah,
clips are falling off. My
yeah,
baby clips.
yeah.
We need to throw a little color in soon. So anyway, there was a UCLA had its own like inter network television thing, and
Right,
um, there used to be a soap opera that the school shot with all student actors and
right.
whatever. And I would come down to LA to visit my friends because before I moved down here, I was coming down here like once every 3 months to hang out with my friends. And that's how I kind of learned a little bit more about LA that, you know. And
Yeah.
so every time I would come down, we would watch it. And it turns out that it was Jack Black when he was in college. And
Really?
it was a full on soap opera. I can't remember the name of
Wow.
it or anything, but I watched a lot of episodes and they were hilarious.
Of
We loved
course.
that show.
Must have been. Must have been.
That
Wow.
was in the early 90s.
Wow.
So,
Wow. So that was
we
Jack.
didn't even know.
Yeah, Jack Black. So he was at UCLA. He was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Who was. So if you don't mind diving a little bit into this, and now we don't. I don't want to. I think you and I talked about this. We don't want to like rag on anybody or bag on anybody, whatever the expression is. But
I got
among
nobody to bag on except
yes,
for myself.
yeah, but I know you've been able to work with like a ton of stars, A-list folks. Who among the bigger stars that somebody might know would you consider to be like a real good person that you had a great experience with on set? Anyone come to mind in particular? Because I know it all kind of runs together, and as we do this over the years, you don't even think about it anymore. You're just going to work, and there's so and so. But maybe there's one that that
You know
stands.
what?
Hmm.
I am not an A-lister. Like I'm not booking the top A-list. My biggest A-list was George Clooney. I worked a bunch of commercials with him and he was always very nice.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
good one. Yeah, yeah, that's great.
yeah. And at one point he came up to me as I was walking. He just kind of like walked up next to me as we were both kind of going in the same direction. We were shooting um Fast Web, a series of commercials for a company called Fast Web out of
Hmm.
Italy.
Right.
And he
That
was their
makes sense because he
spokesperson.
has a place in Italy, I think, and
This was
he's
a long time ago. This was
yeah.
like, well, it was like 10 years ago.
Okay.
And So he came up to me and he's like, "Oh my God, look at this picture." And he had a picture. He had a photograph on him, a black and white photograph. And he said, "This is my mom in the 60s." And his mom, like, it was just a picture of this woman. It was like black and white. It was like sepia.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
had a fabulous beehive.
Oh
And
my,
mhm.
that's
So
great. That's
I was
great.
like, "Oh my God, George Clooney shared his mom's beehive with me. That's so funny." But now,
Hey,
Dave, I got to change the subject again
oh, please.
because we're back at Magic Hour.
Okay.
Look at that. Now, there's two things about Magic Hour. One is Magic Hour is technically supposed to be where the light is exactly the same. You can't tell if it's morning or night, no matter how
Okay.
you
I didn't know
position the
that.
camera,
Okay.
right? And then also the golden light that it sheds is really beautiful.
Oh,
So,
look at that. Look
you
at
know,
that.
like it looks dark, but when you turn the camera around,
Yeah.
boom,
Here you
my
are.
hair
It's
looks
like
like
you're in the light.
spun gold, Dave. I'm
Yeah.
sporting
Yeah.
spun gold.
Yes, exactly. Look at you. You should have been a cinematographer. You know your light. You know your lighting. That's
I've
great.
always thought that the camera is a very sexy thing.
Well, if for some of you, maybe for others of us, it's the enemy. You know, it's the enemy. That's why I always enjoyed playing when I got to wear a costume, or I've done some things with a mask on or something like that. But no, it's if you work well with the camera, and that's one thing that you have to learn how to do as an actor. But it's great to have that appreciation in your case, knowing fabrics and what looks good on film as opposed to digital, because you and I, when we first started out, everything was film,
Yeah,
and then everything changed.
yeah.
You know what has stuck in my head the most about that is that I remember it was like the mantra: if you were going to be wearing your own clothes in a production, they would tell you just make sure you don't wear any checks or plaids on film, right? And then when they went digital, little by little, it just, at least from the shows that I've worked on where I wanted to wear my own clothes, they like, wear whatever you want. Who cares?
No, and not on any of every single production I work with is like, no stripes.
Even now,
Even
even
now
now.
with the red camera, it doesn't matter what kind of camera it is. They are like, no stripes. Like even
Wow,
more. And
wow.
I'm like, Lucille Ball always wore checks in I Love
Right, right,
Lucy. Like she was mooraying off the screen. Her
right,
suit was like jumping out off of her body. And they didn't care. And I
right.
literally, I don't know, it doesn't, I don't care either, but I do understand that if you're watching, you know, at the theater and you've got a really big screen in front of you and somebody's suit is mooraying, I can imagine that that would be slightly annoying. Whereas
Yeah,
on TV, when it was black and white, it moorayed, but it wasn't quite as annoying, you know?
right, right,
Um,
right.
so,
Hmm.
but yeah, I get it so bad. Like people that are, I mean, I've seen it all, Dave. I've seen it all,
Yeah,
you
I know
know?
you have. I
Um,
know you have.
even waffle
Yeah,
fabric, like that thermal waffly stuff.
right.
They'll be like, Mores, or it can't be white. And then I did one job where how okay, so we can't put pure. Usually,
Oh,
we try not to put pure white in front of the camera because,
right,
especially for a
right.
feature or something, because the camera already washes the white out, so
Yeah,
it'll look white if it's
right.
tea dyed. And I had a director who, he was like, take the white out, And so I took the white out, and then he's like, why'd you make it so dark? And I'm like,
Oh,
no,
oh,
you're wrong. This is exactly perfect. You don't know what you're
yeah,
talking about, director. And
yeah.
he was not to bag on anybody, but he
Yeah,
was the one. He was
don't,
the one.
careful here. We don't want,
No
you
names.
know, yeah,
He was the one who, he sometimes in film, if there's a weak link or if somebody senses that there's a weak link,
right,
there's a bit of a piranha feeding frenzy on one person.
right,
Like
right,
if for some reason props is late with something that needs to be used right away, the whole crew is kind of going to hate on them a little bit. So
right,
same
right,
sort of thing. So, but if it starts at the top, then it trickles down. It could get ugly. And so this director, I could tell, was not going to like me.
right,
He
right.
just wanted, I could see right away that he was going to be in on abusing me in front of the crew.
Oh my.
So I waited for him to go to the bathroom. I just kept thinking of Sun Tzu's Art of War, like get them when they least expect it.
Oh boy. Okay. All right. So you've had some far different experiences on set than I've had then. Okay. All right.
So he went to the bathroom and I followed him. And when he
Right.
came out of the bathroom, I all of a sudden I was just there and I said to him, I said, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know that if you have a problem with me, you can just come and talk to me about that.
Right.
And I'm happy to give you whatever you want because I really, this job is important to me and I want to make sure that
Right.
you're happy. But just, come and talk to me." And that's all I
Right.
said. I didn't say, "You don't have to talk to me like that" or anything. I
Right.
just
Right. Right.
reiterated. And
Yep.
then he was so shocked by it. I threw him so far. He was like, "Oh, okay, okay, thanks." And then he didn't talk to me the rest of the day.
Okay. So
And I was like, "Perfect."
you totally ameliorated the situation. I think that's the word. You know, that issue went away, and that has to be an uncomfortable position to be in on set. I mean, genuinely, because people do ask me, especially, when I travel a little bit and I talk and here in New Mexico where I'm meeting uh, lots of theater people and and it's not just theater people. People say, so what's like the worst experience you've ever had on set? And genuinely, I can only think of one time on set. I was playing a dermatologist um, on set, and I had to. They had some prosthetic. Uh, what is it? I don't even want to say it. Anyway, a prosthetic wound underneath the arm of one of the actors,
Hmm.
and I had to
Hmm.
poke at it so the blood would come out of it.
Right.
But I didn't. I was so afraid because it was a real needle or whatever I was poking it with that I didn't want to hurt the actor. And so we one take, two take, and then finally the director had it with me. And he took the thing out. He said, poke it like this, and he like punctured you know, the skin of the actor, and the actor's like, "Oh, what the are you doing?" You know?
To see. You know what the thing is that um in Hollywood, yeah, it's like it's not like corporate, where you always have to
Right.
follow every like, oh, I can't say this to the human resources person, even though they hate me and they're
Right.
mean or rude. Like you can't say anything. In
Right.
Hollywood, if you let people abuse you, then maybe it's just not the place for you to be because this town is filled with a bunch of really nice people and then also, you know, sharks that are
Yes.
swimming around and piranhas
Yes.
that are swimming around, eating
And, and
trying to eat it all.
and of course, this is what. And again, we don't. We could save this for a whole other episode with a whole other genre, whole other tone. But this is where the Me Too movement has come about to kind of make some of these corrections because people do tend to are willing because they want to work in this industry so much that they are willing to compromise their own principles themselves and whatever. Um, but it's perhaps getting a little better, but some of it still exists. But again, let's hold on to that one for another talk another time. I remember this is me segueing away from a third rail subject. Um, but I remember also walking on. I'd taken some kind of a job because one of the things that you learn as an actor is that yeah, you want your whole career to be like for me, it was like I want it to be like Robert De Niro, where I only work on one or two movies every year, and then maybe eventually work on a TV show or something like that. When those lines in the sand existed, they no longer do. But that was all I wanted to do. But then you learn that even the people that you think are these mysterious actors that you only see in these movies also do other stuff that you never get to see. And this is when I started taking jobs doing, obviously, I did my share of commercials, lots and lots of commercials. I was never averse to that. But I started doing uh, like infomercials and things like that. And I remember I hadn't talked to you in a little while because we get busy, and we were always pals. But, you get busy and all of a sudden a month or two goes by and, you haven't talked to each other. And I showed up in valley, somewhere in the valley for an infomercial, and they sent me into wardrobe. And who was do you remember? You were the wardrobe. You were in the
I
costume
do
design.
remember that.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
so excited. I
yeah,
remember, yes. How long
yeah.
ago was that, Dave?
That's I mean, well, it has to have been because I was up in the offices of the studios uh for about a decade, and that decade ended about 2010. So this had to be where I came back to just,
Early 2000s.
yeah, something like that. So it's been
Mhm.
a while. But yeah,
It's been a
so
minute.
it's been a very long minute. But yeah, but I remember being thrilled because it was like seeing an old pal where I totally would not have expected to see you. So that was kind of cool for me. And then from there, you and I ended up uh, getting a show called Mrs. Fitzgerald is Missing, that we did, that ended up on Amazon Prime. That's still there, but you ended up being our costume designer, and so we got to work together on the show. And I think, that was, to me, I tried to surround myself with my family, mi familia,
Yeah.
on that show. So that's, I got to produce it, co-produce it with Bob Jones, Robert Dominic Jones, who I'm going to
Hi,
speak to. I will tell him you
Bob.
said hello. And I had a lot of, well, a few actors, but I mean, we auditioned people, but I got to pick the actors and pick the crew and everything. And look how beautiful it is out there right
And
now.
that's
Wow.
stunning.
Sensation.
Hollywood sunset. I'm sorry, Dave, I don't have a light, so it's getting a little dark.
Yeah,
Hopefully that's not too annoying.
no, that's okay, because I can still look at if you look at the camera, let me see, can I see you? Yeah, that's okay. You know,
And Dave, wait, hold on. Check this out.
oh wow.
Boom.
Oh my, look at that beautiful shot.
Isn't that
You
great? You know,
you may
sometimes
get
I think that, what?
I was gonna say you're gonna get us a cinematography award here.
I hope so.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, beautiful.
but
Beautiful.
at the same time, we're still shooting in the dark. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is what
yeah,
I call the Rembrandt.
yeah. So what I think we might do, Marcel, is, because I'm so enjoying the conversation with you, and I know that the people who are watching and listening are enjoying it as well. Maybe what we ought to do is wrap this episode up, and then we can come back perhaps when you're indoors and we have more time, or outdoors again on your roof. What would you like to do? Whatever you want to do, however you want to play it.
Oh, I love the roof, Dave.
Yeah. We can still see you
And
for a little while longer though,
yeah,
if you want.
let's keep going. You tell
Okay.
me when it's time to end, and when the moon gets
Okay.
a little higher, I'm going to show you because I'm looking at the moon now. It's just so much fun, and then
Yeah.
to have the light behind me is really pretty.
This is
So,
this is how you could tell, by the way, why you were born and meant for the film industry, because your sense of place and sense of environment, your sense of light, and your sense of how you look in that light, that's, I mean, that's innate. That's in your DNA. And that's what makes you perfect for this industry. And it's very cool. No matter what department that you're in on set, you're always cognizant of how will this look on camera. And you've demonstrated that right now. So,
oh, I'm certainly not like the young girls are today, not
yeah,
at all. But I do. I wish I knew the mechanics of the camera better. I still regret not taking that photography class in
yeah,
college.
right, right,
Um, and I got a lot of good pictures on my phone.
right, yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah,
and then of course, as you know, during COVID, I really got into photography on my
sure,
phone and with my camera. And I started creating dioramas, and I
right,
had so much fun with those. I've stopped since,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I just kind of want to take it to a bigger stage now. Like I would ideally love to rent a stage and rent a backdrop and get a
right,
bunch of props in there. I need a zebra
right, right.
for my photo shoot that I want to do.
Okay, all
And
right. So,
so
you need to, I think it's 1-800 rent a zebra is
I need
who
to
you,
see that.
who you
I've
contact.
priced them out.
Yeah, yeah,
Not real ones, of course. I would never rent a real one, but the fake
right.
ones at the prop houses you can get for, I don't know, I forget what they said, but
Yeah, they,
you
they
have
have,
to have a truck.
yeah,
You can't
yeah.
just strap it onto the
Oh, yeah.
roof.
Yeah, but what you're talking about also is a demonstration of, the various fats, in order to get whether it's a photography set or a film set, that's what producing is all about, is gathering all the things that you need to fulfill a scene, finding out where they are, how much they cost, and how do I get them from there, the prop warehouse, the costume warehouse. And I've traveled with you to lots and lots of costume shops and throughout the valley and Hollywood and everything. So how to get all that to the set and get everybody in their costume and looking exactly how they're going to be looking, to the point where the director can say action and roll the camera. So I mean, again,
It's an event. It's an
it's a
event every
it's
time,
it's an
you
event.
know,
Yeah,
and that's why sometimes, especially doing wardrobe, like I don't allow myself to get too caught up in the logistics that
yeah,
production is dealing with.
right,
I just try to stay focused because, early on, I could be very nervous, like, well, what kind of truck am I going to have? And, where are we shooting this? And how will I be
right,
set up? And how far am I from base camp? And, where
right.
are you parking me? And what's the location look like inside? And, I need rolling racks and I need help. And I've just learned to really take a chill pill. And I've, and anybody that's been in this business long enough knows that all of it just unfolds as you go. And so you
Yep,
just have to focus on what is right in front of you.
right,
And
right, right.
everybody else in a smooth running machine and a good team will be
Yep,
doing their jobs. And
yep.
so everything just unfolds as it should when it should. And that's why, they always say, oh, people are good in the industry because when they can anticipate what's coming next. But it's more of like, if you know the job well enough and you just chill and you just do what you need to do at the time that you need to do it, then you know that so and so is going to come to you now because he's going to be asking about the first scene up, or you know what I mean? It's like
Right, right. Yep,
it
yep,
just unfolds.
yep.
And that's the beauty of it, is not to sweat it and just
Right.
to understand the machine and how it goes.
And that's
That's
and,
what
and
I love that.
that's the art of it all. And that, Marcelle Chamlee, unfortunately, you are going to where we've lost most of your face at this point, and we want to keep that beautiful face on camera as much as we can. But I think that there's no way around it unless you have a lighting crew nearby, which I don't think you do. But
Calling in the lighting crew.
there you go, beautiful. There you are, a
That's
beautiful.
my lighting crew.
There it is, the moon, beautiful by the moonlight. But
Yeah, it really is
anyway,
dark. I just
let
wanted to test one thing while I have you and just see. Oh no, never mind. That's not it. Oh shoot.
okay.
Sorry, Dave.
No, no, no.
Um,
That's all right. Let's do this though, because you and I, because we do have such a history together and separate in this industry, you and I could definitely write volumes of books and have many, many episodes. And so let's do another episode, can we? If you be, if you
Absolutely, Dave.
join me
Anytime.
again,
Just
great, terrific. So
hmm
let's
Yep.
do that. But I think for this episode, you have given us more spun gold in your experiences and reflections and editorializing, and I mean that in the best sense of the word. Um, this is just great. So thank you for lending me and anybody who's watching or listening your expertise and your charm and your rooftop and your light. And so I just
Thanks,
want to say,
Dave.
for the whole cast and crew at the Dave Beaton is a C-List Actor Zoomcast, which is pretty much just one or two
Yay!
of us at any given time. Thank you, Marcelle Chamlee, for joining us. And I'm gonna now, at the end of any Zoom call that anybody does, I'm gonna press the end the meeting, but I'm gonna end the episode. And once again, Marcelle, thank you so much. Okay.
Okay, thanks, Dave. Sorry I'm so in the dark. We'll talk to you soon. I'm looking forward to the next one.
All right. Take care, Marcelle.
Okay.
Thanks again.
Bye.